Desperate for feedback. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 192 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and how often do you seek feedback? And not just by asking people or, again, actually going out there and looking for it, but how often do you get the chance to receive feedback that helps you? I would like to discuss with you today how important it is to have that in your life, and that if you have not looked for it, you should start. Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, leaving a like and subscribing really help a lot. They're just one click, but they really make the difference. Thank you very much. So, today's episode is going to be a bit more generic, and it's going to revolve around the whole concept of the Shower Podcast. So, if you don't have something like that going in your life, it will be a bit harder to understand. But at the same time, you should take my experience in order to make something out of it for yourself. So why do I talk so much about feedback? Of course, the moment that you put something online, the moment that you have a show like this one, it's natural that something like that will happen and will come. So far, let's say it hasn't been exposed so much to a very generic public. But again, it's something that could happen. But at the same time, the moment that you start something, you will receive the feedback of the ones around you. And that is something that can be either scary or very exciting, depending on the person you are and depending on the people that you have around you. In my case, let's say for the personal level, I was pretty okay with it, given that I have little to no reaction to what others say on the things that I do, as long as I am pretty confident on the things that I do. I don't base the quality, let's say, necessarily of my choices on the feedback that I get. And I believe that is overall healthy because so far it helped me, let's say, to live happily. And indeed, it just reduces the amount of stress that I could get from doing anything to just looking inside and understanding if it's something that I want to do or not. And if I want, then I'm okay. On the other hand, though, there is another aspect. The feedback that you get just based on the things that you do. So it's not the action, but it's the result of the action. In that case, it starts to get tricky. Because if I would apply, let's say, the same kind of reasoning and the same kind of argument to what I just said, on one hand, it would make sense because you say you shouldn't look for the feedback from others, even not just from the choice, but also the product. You know, if you like the product, if you believe it's good, then you should be fine. And that is true at the start. It's true when you build something. It's true that if you are not satisfied with it, it's impossible to believe that somebody else might. That is a given. And overall, this is a tactic and something that should be considered in any kind of result that you get. If you're not satisfied with it, even though somebody could say, hey, but that's amazing, no problem, go ahead. It's not okay. It's not okay just because you are the one in the end that needs to validate that thought. So that is for sure something. But once you are satisfied with it, so at the start with the choice, also with the result, then you should start seeking for feedback. You should look for it. Just ask constantly. Why is that? Because the moment that you don't get feedback, the moment that you just do something and assume it's good, you will start building an image and a projection of the things that you have around you that have no grasp on reality. Again, I said that I will talk about the podcast, and I will. So far, from the people that follow it, let's say that the channel and overall the amount of views hasn't exploded in any of the episodes that I did. And therefore, it's quite hard, to seek for that validation and understand what is that is missing. Because one of the other issues, and maybe the thing that puts the most doubt in my head, is that even though I consider this to be a valuable product, of course, nothing revolutionary, it's indeed something that I do at the end of the day, and it's 10 minutes of my day every day. So the production value cannot exceed a certain limit. But I still believe that, listening by myself, I still believe that it's very enjoyable. And also from my close friends and the people that are close to me that listen to it regularly, I also have received positive feedback. And indeed, I have to say I am honored, and I honestly believe it's something quite impressive, because even though it might be here and there, but I would say that there are people that started from day one and almost 200 days later, they're still here listening. So something might be there. But is that enough? And I would say no, just because of the fact that if you want to make an assessment that goes beyond your persona, as I said many times, the podcast will continue to have sense and has sense as long as I give it to it. And so far it's going well, and that is a given. But how much then should you invest on actually distributing that product? Because the moment that you do that, and the moment that you search for that feedback, it will arrive. And will you be ready for it? I don't know yet. But one thing that I'm sure of is that if I decide not to and just live okay with it, I will have lost a big opportunity. And in the end, this is the message that I want to give to you. Don't be afraid to look for feedback on the things you're producing, on the things that you're doing, because the result should have value in your own hands, but should also be validated by someone else. Because in that moment, you know that you are both able to create something that you like, but it's also valuable to people around you. This doesn't apply to everything, as I said. The podcast is a perfect example, but in this case, it cannot be applied to everything in life. But at the same time, I believe that there is value in understanding that when you are exposed to it, look for the feedback, take it. Because if you don't, the opportunity is lost. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. Very personal episode, I know. And again, I hope that you are still able to get something out of it. But those episodes exist for a reason, as I said. It's first a mirror of myself. And secondly, whatever idea I have that I can give also to you, it's a plus. It's a huge plus, but it still remains a plus. If you like this episode, remember that liking and subscribing really, really help. And as usual, until the next one, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and see you tomorrow.